Hi everyone, I thought I'd do something a little bit different with the voiceover today. I've decided to do a bit of abstract grid art journaling in my Khadi Fat Book, and I start off by taping up the edges. Today I decided I wanted to do it into grids of like 4 squares or 4 squarish per page across a whole double page spread. So I'm using the Scotch blue tape here. It can be a little bit rippy, as you will see at the end, but it's a really good one if you're using watery mediums to actually keep the watercolour out from under those lines so you get nice crisp lines. I was a bit unsure what colours I wanted to use, so I'm using here these cards from Mike Deacon. I'll link his YouTube channel and his shop. I'm not sure if these journaling cards are still available. They were ones that you used to buy and then print off yourself. I chose 3 colours and then I randomly picked 2 other colours, and I started by picking some of the Kuretake Gansai Tambi paints. Eventually I didn't actually use all of the 5 colours from the paints. I did use all 5 colours in my project, but not all the paints. I decided after a while that I wanted to use some other mediums. So I'm starting off with this like creamy colour, going on to the mint, and I used colours from both the Art Nouveau set and the 36, I think it is, set of Gansai Tambis. And then decided that I would add some of this sort of hot pink from using one of my distress watercolour pencils. So what you can see me doing is I was actually dipping the actual pencil into water. Because these are a woodless pencil, you can do that. The colour was picked raspberry. I will link everything, or I will note everything in the description box. If it's able to be linked, then I will try where I can. Then I went back into the Gansai Tambis for this sort of dark blue. I think this was actually an indigo. But the colour I picked from the cards was petrol blue, but I was using those more as a guide. So I'm trying to let everything dry in between layers today, which means that you don't get so much of that blending and bleeding effect. I'm now using some of the Dylusions Shimmer paint. This is the Calypso Teal, so I thought that would be a nice contrast. And the stencil is from Be Crafty. Again, I'm not sure if these are still available. I will link the shop, and if the stencil itself is still available, I will link that as well. So I'm using today my stippling brush, which is my favourite way of applying paint. Sometimes I do use a sponge, but I do like these brushes. They're nice and stiff and really good. Now I'm using a couple of stamps from Cleverprints, which I designed myself. So full disclosure, obviously, that if anybody ever buys them, I am entitled to a small commission on those. I will link again them in the description box. I started off with this text from the Positive Affirmations set because I wanted a little bit of writing in the background. I didn't want to put an actual sentiment on this piece or a quote or anything, but I did want some writing. So this one I think says be bold, be brave, it's got lots of like nice positive things to say. And I'm using picked raspberry again, but in the Archival ink. I use Archival ink a lot because it is really good at going over lots of different surfaces. Now I'm using one of the Make a Mark stamps. I use these quite often. I like just adding little touches of these in there, great for texture. And I'm using this with the Faded Jeans Archival just to add a little bit of interest into the abstract backgrounds, really. The lovely thing about this is when you take this tape off, which I will be doing in a moment. Now, this tape does tend, especially with this Khadi paper, because it is very rough and it's handmade and it's only 100 GSM in this book. It's lovely for playing around in and testing out different ideas, but it can be a bit rippy, which it does do here. But what I did afterwards is I just stuck that page, the page behind had nothing on it, so I stuck it down so that it would give it a bit more strength. And there we go. So thank you ever so much for watching. If you enjoyed, do please give me a like, and if you're not already subscribed, to subscribe, and I'll see you again soon. So thanks a lot. Bye.